Hello everyone, I Rachna H. Kalapnavar, lecturer in Electrical and Electronic Department, Jain Polytechnic, Belgavi. I am handling the analog electronic subject. In this video, first I am going to cover about conductors, semiconductors and insulators of semiconductors and diodes unit. For more my videos, subscribe Architect YouTube channel. First, we'll see what are the content of today's video. Introduction. In that, first we'll discuss how is the atomic structure. Next, definition of and examples of conductors, semiconductors and insulators. Next, energy bands. How is the energy band formation for conductor, semiconductor and insulator, we'll see in this video. So first, introduction. In that, what is atom? Atom is the smallest particle of matter is an atom. It is made up of three fundamental particles: neutron, proton and electron. Proton is positively charged and electron is negatively charged and the neutron is uncharged, that is electrically neutral. So atomic structure, how it is, just see in this picture image. Plus sign indicates a proton. Next is the grey color neutron, that is electrically neutral, and blue color negatively charged, those are the electrons. So all these electrons will be revolving in the each orbits. So next is the proton and neutron is bond together and form the nucleus. See, you can see this is a plus and the grey color negatively charged, these are called, it is called as a nucleus, and these are the electrons which is a revolving around this nucleus in this shape manner. So electrons will be revolving around the nucleus. This is the atomic structure of the atom. The number of protons in an atom is called the atomic number. The total number of protons and neutrons in the nucleus of an atom is called the atomic weight. All the revolving electrons arranged in the different orbits and the shells. Each shell contains the maximum number of electrons, which is given by the 2n square, where n is the number of shell. These are the electrons will be revolving in the each shell. This is one separate and all like this, the atomic structure of the atom. It is every solid, liquid and gas is composed of all these atoms. Next we'll see the what is the conductor. Conductor is the one which allow the electric current to flow through them easily are called as the conductor. For example, gold, silver, copper, aluminium, iron, etc. So many examples are there. Just you can see here. See here. Some examples are given in this images, like copper is there, aluminium is there, steel is there. So these are the example of conductors. Next, what are the insulators? Insulator is opposite to the conductors. The materials which do not allow electric current to flow through them are called as the insulator. Example, rubber, wood, cotton, etc. You can see these images, so many examples of insulators I have given. Plastic, ceramic. Means if you connect to the electric circuit, they will not allow the electric current to pass through them. So these are called as the insulators. Wood is there, paper, all these are the examples of insulators. Next we will see the semiconductors. The material whose conductivity lies in between that of conductors and insulators are called as the semiconductors. Example, silicon, germanium, zinc, etc. What is the meaning of this lies between the conductors and insulators means? Starting, it is also not allowing the current to pass through the it is not also not allowing the electric current to pass through them. But when if you give some voltage, if you exceed some voltage depending on that rating and material of that semiconductor, then it will allow the electric current. For example, if it is a silicon is there, after 0.7 voltage it acts as a conductor, means electric current will start to flow through them. Before 0.7 voltage it is act as an insulator only, means the electric current is not allow, this material will not allow any electric current to pass through that. Same like germanium also, 0.3 volt. Less than 0.3 volt it is not allowing the electric current to pass through them. Next, after 0.3, that is breakdowning should happen there. After that only, after 0.3 voltage it start to conduct. So example I already told that silicon. Next is the germanium. So these two are the so many are there. In that main important we are generally use the silicon more, and next is the germanium. Next we'll see some electronic configurations of conductors, insulators and the semiconductors. This is very important. See some examples are given here. Just observe the last shell. See, always remember the last shell electrons are called as the valence electrons. Electrons will nucleus and surrounding that nucleus, first shell, second shell, third shell, like that. SPDF, like that shells, KLM and main shells will be there. So these shells, last orbit, which is the electrons in the last orbits, are called as the valence electrons. The number of that valence electrons also indicate the whether it is a conductor, semiconductor or insulator. I have taken first example copper 29, it is the atomic number. So how you can write in the electronic configuration? 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d10 and 4s1. Just observe that in the last orbit, that is 4, that orbit, fourth orbit, it is having only one electron. Next come to the example aluminium 13, it is the atomic number 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p1. Only observe this last, that is third orbit. Third orbit consists of how much? 2 plus 1, 3. See, always remember conductor will be having a, in the valence electrons are of less than 4. Those almost all are a conductor only. So depending on that electronic configuration and how much is the valence electrons in that atom or any matter, we can tell it is a conductor, semiconductor and the insulator. You can see here it is having a only fourth orbit 1 electron, and here third orbit 2 plus 1 3 electrons. So what about insulators then? Insulators will be having a more than 4 electrons in their last orbit. So valence electrons will be more than 4 in this. So only few example I have given. Nitrogen. Nitrogen consists of in the last orbit, just see here last orbit is which one? Second one. So in that 2s2 and 2p3. How much? 2 plus 3, 5. So it is having a more than 4 electrons in the last orbit. That is valence electrons number is 5. Same like for sulfur. Third orbit is the last, in that how many electrons? 2 plus 4, 6. So you can observe here for insulators more than 4 electrons will be there. Same way come to the semiconductors. In the semiconductors, silicon is having 14 and germanium is having a 32 as an atomic number. So silicon third orbit is consist of how much? 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. And same way germanium is how much it is consist of? See, this is the fourth orbit, 4s2 and 4p2, 2 plus 2, 4. So always remember, carbon is also having a semiconductor only. Always remember, semiconductor is having a valence electrons of how many? 4 electrons it consists of. So once again I will tell you, the conductor will be having a valence electrons less than 4, and insulators will be having the valence electrons more than 4. Semiconductors will be having a valence electrons exactly 4. So depending on this electronic configuration also we can characterize by the conductor, insulator and the semiconductors. So valence electrons are nothing but the electrons in the last orbits are called as the valence electrons. You just remember this basic concept in this. Next we will see the energy bands. So energy band is nothing but the range of energies possessed by an electron in a solid is known as an energy band. Each shell has energy level associated with it. The energy level of first shell is the lowest, while the energy level of valence shell is the highest. That is nothing but the last shell. More energy level indicates that the electrons of that shell are loosely bound to the nucleus. Means the first nucleus surrounding by the electrons of the first orbit. First orbit will be attraction will be more and compared to last orbit. Last orbit the attraction will be less. So valence electrons can be attraction of that force will be very less compared to the first orbit electrons. As the same energy level, if you come, the first orbit will be having a less energy level, second orbit will be having compared to the last energy level. So last orbit will be having the highest energy level in the atomic structure. That is a concept of in the energy level and the energy band diagram. So first shell lowest energy level and last shell will be having the highest energy level. Just to keep in this point in your mind, don't get confused. First shell lower energy level and highest valence shell will be having a highest energy level. Before I tell you about the energy band diagram and I'll show the energy band diagram, just some important definitions I'll tell you. Valence band is nothing but what? The energy levels associated with the valence electrons merge into each other to form a band called a valence band. Nothing but the band of energy is possessed by the valence electrons. Valence electrons are which electrons? Which are in the last orbit. Next come to the conduction band. Conduction bands are nothing but the valence electrons will be in the last orbit. Sometime it will be loosely attached and it is loosely attached and it can be easily detachable from that force of attraction. Then it will become the free electrons. So those free electrons also merge into each other to form a band called a conduction band. Next, the energy band which separates the conduction band and the valence band is called as the forbidden band or forbidden energy gap. Just I'll show the example first for the conductors. See, this is the energy band diagram for the conductors. You can see this is the conduction band. This is your valence band. So what is the valence band? The range of energies possessed by the and merge into each other to form a valence band, which is by the valence electrons. And which are the conduction electrons? Don't get confused. Conduction electrons are those which are easily detachable, which can be come out from that force of attraction, where the nucleus will be having the force of attraction for all the electrons, but last orbit electrons, which are the valence electrons, it can be come out from the, if you give any some type of energy, it may be light energy, electrical energy, then what happen, it will be detached, easily detached, and those electrons are called as the free electrons. Those which are the forming and merging into each other, no, those such band is called as the conduction band. In this conductor, it is here, conductor has a large number of free electrons. In terms of energy band, if you go, conduction band and the valence band overlap each other. See here, this is your conduction, first valence band, next again conduction band. This section is overlapping section. So always remember, in the conductor, almost all conductor has a large number of free electrons and both are overlap each other. Conductor and conduction band and the valence band is overlap each other in the conductors. Next, same way we'll see about the semiconductors and the insulators. So in the insulator, how it is? So what is the energy gap, forbidden energy gap? An energy band which separates the conduction band and the valence band is called forbidden band or forbidden gap. You can see here conduction band and valence band. Valence band here, valence electrons. The more free electrons are not there here. So it is separated by some energy gap. How much? It is an electron volt. 15 electron volt. It is separated, and the energy gap is the 15, that is forbidden band, or you can call it as a forbidden energy gap is there. It is very difficult that valence electron should go to the conduction band because gap is more. In the case of conductor, what happen? Both are overlap. But here valence band and conduction band is the gap is more, around the 15 electron volt. So to conduct electricity, we need a conduction electron, that is the free electrons we require to. So what is electric current? Flow of electrons in a particular direction is called current. We need a what? Those free electrons we need. The valence electrons will go to the conduction band, those become a conduction electron, then only current start to flow. But what happened here? Here energy gap is more. So what happened? The conduction will be not taking place in the case of insulators. The insulator has no free electrons and gap is also very, very large. Then just imagine how the semiconductor energy gap will be there. Yes, your thinking is right. It is a less energy gap. We'll see the energy band diagram of that. So the semiconductor has very less few free electrons, and energy band or valence band is almost filled, and conduction band is almost empty, and the conduction band and valence band in between that gap is small here. You can see here 1 electron volt, here see 15 electron volt, here 1 electron volt. If you give some push energy, if you give, then what happen, it is easily the electrons from valence band can jump to the conduction band and conduction can takes place here. So in the gap is less, and if you use some energies, it may be light energy, it may be electrical energy, if you give, what happen, the valence band electrons can jump to the conduction band and the conduction can takes place. To flow of current, the free electrons we require, and those free electrons will be where it will be there in the conduction band. So gap is less. If you give some amount of energy, then what happen, these electrons can go to the conduction band and conduction can takes place in the semiconductors. So only I told that starting it is not going to conduct, starting it is act as an insulator only for some voltage. After giving some voltage, I told that silicon 0.7 and germanium 0.3, then the conduction can takes place. This is energy band of conductor, insulators and the semiconductors. So today's video, what are we are going to, I covered means some atomic structure, how the atoms, what are the atom consist of. It consists of the proton, electron and the neutron. Proton is positively charged, neutron is neutral and electron is negatively charged. How is the atomic structure we seen, and conductor, insulator and semiconductor, some definition and some examples we seen in this, and energy band, how the energy band formation of conductors, insulator and semiconductors we seen in this video. So next again next concept I'll cover in the coming videos. Thank you.